Suppose that you go to bake cookies and you mix up the dough and then you wonder, did I remember to put the baking soda in there? And you're not sure and it's too late to tell. So what do? You're afraid that if you add the baking soda now and double it potentially, the cookies may rise like crazy or taste bad. But if you don't put it in, they may not rise at all. So what do? Well, you bake the cookies, and once they're baked, you'll know whether or not you put the baking soda in there or not. And so it is, how do we know whether we or someone else is a believer in Jesus Christ? Well, it will show, because the Spirit of Christ living in us will produce fruit. And that fruit is that we will have a pattern of doing the will of God. Welcome to Truth Talk with Ed Skipper every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I want you to listen closely to the words of Jesus and ask the question, who does not enter the kingdom of heaven and who does? Matthew 7:21-23. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only he who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. Many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, and in your name drive out demons and perform many miracles? Then I will tell them plainly, I never knew you. Away from me, you evil doers. So who does not enter the kingdom of heaven? Well, many who say, Lord, Lord, don't. Also, many who claim that they prophesied or driven out demons or performed miracles, and those who do not know Jesus, and evildoers. Those are people who do not enter the kingdom of heaven. Who does enter? Those who know him, who are not evildoers. So there is fruit from our lives if we are a genuine believer in Jesus. We are no longer carrying out a pattern of doing evil, but we are carrying out a pattern of doing the will of God. When I was getting ready to propose to my wife, one of my relatives told me that I should consider, instead of getting her a diamond, getting cubic zirconia. Now, I looked into it. She said this because it was cheaper, and she said to me, Charlene will never know the difference. Well, I ended up rejecting that idea, partly because it would have been deceitful, but I learned a few things about cubic zirconia compared to a diamond. It does last well, cubic zirconia. It's got good endurance. It's not as hard as a diamond, and it captures light differently, therefore it doesn't shine like a diamond. And so it is with professing believers. Those who actually have Christ in them have a certain way that they shine. That is, they do his will consistently, not perfectly, but that's the pattern. And those who don't know Jesus, don't have the Spirit of Christ dwelling in them, will continue to do evil. So when we say Lord, Lord, means master, ruler, boss, it implies that we are also willing to submit to him as Lord. Jesus said in John 14:21, whoever has my commands and obeys them, he is the one who loves me. He who loves me will be loved by my Father, and I too will love him and show myself to him. Now, next time we'll look at Jesus' words where he talks about comparing a life in which a person hears Jesus' words and puts them into practice as being like building a house on a rock foundation versus those who hear his words, do not put them into practice. They're like a person who built their house on sand. And until next time, may your genuine relationship with Jesus show in your life by having a pattern of doing God's will.